Hey, welcome back, folks. I'm Andre Thompson, Privileged Bow Hunter. Hey, got another video. This has been like one of the most requested in Instagram and in the comments. I did a video a little while back. You'll see a link somewhere. But it was basically why I went away from the Madrock and I went to an ATC. So you can watch that video to give you the background of how I did it. But a lot of people are like, hey, how exactly step by step do you do this process? So most of you all are tracking that I'm using Sterling Opluxes to 8mm stuff. And when using it with the Madrock, obviously it was slightly out of spec, but that wasn't an issue for me. It held just fine. That wasn't the reason why I went away from it. But still, here it is, 8mm. This is 40 feet. And then as my tether locker, I have this ohm tether locker, and it just helps keep this Delta Quick Link that I got from Eastern Woods Outdoors from sliding down the tree, like when I'm one sticking up the tree. So that's pretty simple, right? And then I'm using this DMM pivot. So the pivot, I'm assuming, refers to this section. It's a guide ATC. And then in addition, I'm using 6mm TRC. It's also by the Sterling brand. And then just your regular run-of-the-mill carabiner, locking carabiner. I think it does pretty well. And then I have some camo form tape that I put on here. I have to replace it probably every couple months because we're hunting a lot out here and it gets worn out, but it just helps, you know, keep the noise down. You still got to be reasonable. It's not like you can just be out of control and everything's going to be silent. So basically, for the setup, I'm using this 6mm TRC is, let's see, from knot to knot, we got 21 inches. So you're probably going to add, realistically, probably another 16 inches. So about 37 inches total of TRC. Now, I understand that they make stuff that's all like spliced or sewn, like stitched together and lock stitched or whatever. And I've tried it. The problem with that is, within the method that I'm using it, is that plastic portion that binds this together, it's too stiff. So basically, as I'm using this to guide up my tether, it doesn't work because it's too stiff. So I had to go back to this where I basically just have a overhand knot tied in here. So here we go. Those are the components. I hope I'm not missing any. So I'm taking my tether, right? And I'm literally just going to, for one, I just route it through here. All right, so you have to be aware, right? You got to use some common sense. Obviously, if I was outside, this would be on the tree. So that's up to the tree. So I'm going to lay this over the table. The end that would be going towards, you know, the ground, where the rope would be on the ground. So facing away from me is simulating the tree. Over here would be the ground. I hope that makes sense to you folks. I'm going to take just a bite of it, or I'm going to fold this in half, and I feed it through here. And then this would attach to my saddle. So I would attach this here. Boom. You guys know this would go to the bridge. So now what you have here is one end attached to the tree, and the other end would be here at like my brake hand. All right, so what I was doing in that video with the ATC versus Madrock, I was actually tying the swabbage around here. But the guy from Saddle Hunting, the YouTube channel, you should check him out. He's got a lot of awesome content, hunting content, saddle hunting content. He's like, hey man, why don't you just run it through the guide portion? And I was like, well, because I didn't think of that. You gave me a great idea. I appreciate it. So that's what I've been implementing. It's a lot more cleaner. It's not running on the outsides of the ATC. So I'll run it up through the guide section. And literally all I'm doing right now is tying a swabbage. So the way I tie it, I just go the 6mm TRC under the 8mm rope and back over. So behind, over. Okay. And then all I'm doing is just feeding it. Oh, excuse me. I got to go back over the rope. And literally all I'm doing is just giving it, I want to say 4 wraps. So, hey, disclaimer, I am not a climbing professional in any way, shape, or form. So there are plenty of like knot tying tutorials out there, whether it's REI or whoever that does it. But I go 4 up top, and then it's the 1 on bottom that you already saw. And then I run that in back through this guide section so it's nice and clean. And then obviously I got to clamp this on to the carabiner. That would be attached to my bridge. So you can do these steps here like the night before, before you even head out into the woods. And then you just got to get both legs of the sway hitch even. All right, so essentially what I have is I have my 8mm tether, I have my 6mm sway hitch, and then I have my ATC. Okay, so what'll happen is this won't let me come down the tree once this is cinched in. So it's literally, you'll see the sway hitch is biting in this direction. So this is me hanging from my saddle. My fingers are acting as if they were the bridge. I pull, it's not going anywhere. Okay, now when I need to go the opposite way, what's gonna happen is the ATC is going to act as a tender. Like if you use the Prusik tender, we'll try to leave a link in the description somewhere for like Prusik tenders. This is gonna turn into that. So as I pull, it's gonna break the tension of this knot with the ATC. It's gonna push it up. So boom. And then what happens is it won't let me fall again, right? So now it's bit back into the rope. And then when I need to remove some slack, easy day. Now, the beautiful thing about this sway hitch too is if I need a little bit more slack, remember this end would be attached to the tree, right? It's girth hitched around the tree. So I can literally one-hand operation just grab the top of this sway hitch and boom, give myself more slack, right? So I have to feed maybe a little bit before the, see it, you can get it to feed pretty well. And then once you need to advance, once you need it to bite, just kind of tug on the 2 legs to set your rope again. And once again, you're locked in safely to the tree, having double protection. So that's this setup. So there's 2 sections in here for your tether or your rappel rope to go through. Just pick one, put it in there. Carabiner. It doesn't matter if you pick the one closest. I'm sure I'll get that in the comments. It doesn't matter if you pick this one or this slot. Just make sure you lock it in. And then obviously, guys, lock your carabiners. So that's that, right? You got your tether. You got your sway hitch as a backup. You got your ATC. Obviously, you got your carabiner. And then there's one more level of protection I like to add to this as well, just to give me another backup to the backup. And all of this is set from the ground. Now, remember, guys, you can do this section at home. So you don't have to be at the tree tying all of this stuff. You can do this at home before you even get to your tree. All right, so next I have this 19-inch hollow block and a carabiner attached to it, right? So I set it up like this. You can see like the plastic part that protects the stitching is, I set it up in this way. So this end, the carabiner, will be attached to the lineman loop on your saddle. Okay, and then all you do is wrap this hollow block or this auto block around your tether as many times as you can. I got the 19-inch one because I think it's because I weigh a little bit more that I need a little bit, I need a few more loops to get this to stop than most people. I take this end and literally all I'm doing is clipping it to that other end that's the other end that's on the carabiner. Now keep in mind, folks, this will be attached to the lineman loop on the saddle. So now when this needs, hold on. So when this is attached, right, what it ends up doing is apply a braking force to the auto block. So what it'll do is these teeth in here, it's gonna bite into these teeth in here. On this side, it's gonna bite into those teeth, and it's gonna be as if I was pulling down here, and it will not allow your rope to feed back through, so you'll be held in place. It is so beautiful, folks. All right, folks, so I got all the loops on my auto block. This would be my this carabiner will be attached to the lineman's loop on my belt, on my saddle, and literally, right, so this is the tree. This auto block is just gonna grab, and you see how it's just slowing down, and then eventually I cannot pull any further. And what it's doing is applying a braking force here. So these teeth that are in this ATC, it pulls the tether into those teeth. And then what happens is this ATC kind of pivots a little bit this way. This is the tether that's heading to the tree, and then this side is going to your lineman's belt. Whenever you're not feeding rope through this auto block with your hand, it's gonna apply friction here and allow you to stay in place. And then when you wanna rappel, it's this easy, folks. I'm just gonna grab here, and then it'll feed it through, and your body weight will allow you to come down this rope. Now, as I'm feeding through here, I don't like to de-rig anything at the top of the tree. Once I climb up the tree, I like to be able to come back down without having to make any transitions. It's just safer for me. If you're in a tree from dark to dark, probably hadn't eaten a whole lot, probably tired, maybe just shot a buck, maybe you're not thinking the best. I don't want to have to de-rig or switch over to something else to come down the tree. So make sure you're grabbing. I grab the top of the swabish too, because if I don't grab the swabish, remember, folks, it's not going to let you come down the tree. So what I'm doing is I'm holding this hand here to feed rope through, and I'm holding here to feed rope to. And if at any point I let these go because I panic or whatever and I feel like I'm descending too fast, then everything gets held in place. It's that simple, folks. So, hey, let me know what y'all think in the comments. If there's anything else y'all need me to explain out further, I love doing it for y'all. I love helping y'all. Remember, though, you got to do it safely. If something happens to you in the tree, you fall and get hurt, your family is not going to say, well, hey, privileged bow hunter told you to do it. So, you saying that to your family is not going to bring you back. So make sure that you take all safety precautions possible. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share the channel, share the channel, share the channel. We love y'all. If you don't know how to spell it, it's Privileged. I know y'all know how to spell bow hunter. We love y'all. Peace.